Hello, my name is Constantine Geranius. I'm here to talk to you about team building today for the National Eclipse Ballooning Project. Team building is an important part of this because this is a team activity. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to do a code of conduct. So what is a code of conduct? I like to think of it as a contract amongst my peers, right? For any team I'm on, what we're gonna do is we're gonna lay out some expectations, some rules that we expect of I would expect of myself, and that I expect of my teammates, right? And so this is a team activity, and and so and like probably the most important thing about all of this is every member must agree to everything on it. So there's no majority voting or anything. It's everyone must agree to every part of it. And so this is really important when it comes to working with teams or in business or in any sort of environment, because what you're doing right now is you're going to clearly lay out what the expectations are of everybody during this. So here's the example, or this would be the anti-example. What shouldn't go on there is every person must be on time. That's actually a great idea to have. Like that's what we want. That's the expectation. But what I put on the code of conduct is all members will be on time to meetings or whatever. And if they're late, then there's a consequence. And if they're late more than once in a time frame, then another consequence. And this is so you have a specific, you already know what's going to happen, right? So if this happens, there's no question of, oh, well, what do we do now? It's no, I already have this laid out. So you've already agreed to this. So if such and such happens, then here's your consequence. And and the consequences can be whatever the group decides they should be. I've been on groups where we've had different ones where it was buy everyone on the team a coffee, or if had to bring a presentation slide on the next meeting. It's it varies from group to group, whatever you want it to be, and and each one that matches whatever the activity is. And these range from being on time to also things about productivity, and like if you needed to bring something to the group, did you bring it? And all these other kinds of things can go on there. And so it's important that you think about this, and this is for any team you're a part of. Now, as a group, take 10 minutes and really think about this and write as many of these as you can all agree to. Because remember, we all have to agree on all of these. And so take 10 minutes and do that. Thank you. So this project's about ballooning. As you know, we're going to be launching high altitude balloons, and this, it's going to be specific for this project, everything we're doing here. And so it's important to look at building a good team for this project. So this project is a field campaign. And so what is a field campaign? Well, this one, what it is you're going to be outside in actual field, because to launch a large weather balloon, you can't be in a very heavily wooded area. It kind of needs to have an open landscape a little bit. So each team is going to be out there, and your shift is going to be out there for 12 hours, and so launching balloons every hour. So that's what this field campaign is. So you'll be out there launching balloons every hour, and you're gonna have to communicate to things, because you'll be out there for 12 hours, so you have to do normal human things, eating and whatnot. But that doesn't mean that the project stops because of this. What it means is you're gonna have to communicate with your team about, like, I'm going to be gone for 10 minutes, and people need to know this in case so and so happens to need whatever. And so everyone knows that you're working as a team, and taking breaks at appropriate times, and not everybody's leaving all at once, and all of these things. So that's a matter of being able to communicate with your team during this field campaign where you're going to be outside working for 12 hours. And you're going to constantly need to be organizing things, because you're constantly be disorganizing them. Every time you're going to launch the balloon, then the next thing you're going to have to reset up to launch the next balloon to make sure everything's where it's supposed to be. And so this is it's a very circular process. It'll keep going and going. Diversity is important for any team because a diverse group comes up with is a more creative group. It's more productive and has better problem solving. Many people looking at many different backgrounds looking at the same problem are more likely to solve the problem efficiently and in a better manner. And diverse teams encourage growth because a diverse team is a team set up to continue to grow. There's some physicality in this project we need to look at. The balloons, they can be unruly. They're pretty big, and you're gonna have to deal with fine motor skills because there's also that part of it. And in extreme conditions, those can be difficult. And it's important when launching to make sure that you know what your job is for this launch, and that although sometimes helping is important in different positions, sometimes people just being too close and in the way can actually have the negative in fact. And it's important to look at, we're not just going to be launching at 1 o'clock in the afternoon with the sun out and you can see everything. A lot of the launches will be overnight, and so in complete darkness. And so it'll be good to look at what do we need to do when we're launching at night, because that's one of the problems. We're going to look at sleep deprivation, right? Because this one of the unique challenges of this particular project is a 12-hour shift is a long shift, and it's a very long shift to work with a team. So when you work with the same people for that amount of time, it's important that we follow the rules that we've set up in our code of conducts or whatever, however we've already decided, and that that we've spent time together before this, because it's important to have a working relationship prior to this, because after 9 hours of launching balloons, not everybody is going to be people are going to be tired, people are going to need such and such, and it's important to be able to get through the entirety of that shift and work as a cohesive unit. And a big thing you can do to help that is to spend some time together before the eclipses. Another issue we'll be working with, you got to deal with the weather. You got to be prepared for different types of weather. Hot, cold, rain, shine. You can also have dust storms, and all different kinds of things can happen. And wind will have a big effect on how you can launch the balloons. Because if there's a 70-mile-an-hour wind, all of a sudden holding the balloons became a much bigger job. And so it's good to have plans there and to have thought about these as a team, as what we're going to do if this happens, and have a plan for success. Another part of this project is the data analysis, and this is another great place for teamwork, because programming skills aren't necessary for this, but being able to execute a program is. And and this is a great opportunity for everybody to learn from each other, because once once you've ran a Python script, if your team members haven't, it's something you can help your team members with, and this can help with team building. And this is a great place for that, because it's a good place to learn how to do that. And this can attract students from all different kinds of fields, because there's a lot of different data. We're going to collect a lot of data, and so there's a lot of different things you can look at and analyze. And so people from different disciplinaries can look at all the data and do different things with them. Troubleshooting is going to be an important part of this, right? You're going to be able to talk out problems, and it's going to be something you might want to practice beforehand, because you're going to be doing some practice launches, and and maybe you set up it so there's not enough string, or something is missing, and on the fly as a team you need to solve this problem, because you're going to have to be able to collectively problem solve in the field, because every field campaign is going to have something's going to come up, right? That is how these things work when you're working outside for 12 hours doing these things. So you're going to need to be prepared to troubleshoot as a team, because that is a team activity, because you can't be having one person do it. And so that's a big thing with you need to be able to talk with each other and communicate. It's important to get the best out of every team. Everyone will need to learn all the positions, and And, so everyone can do everyone on the, because like we said, 12 hours is a long time. That's a lot of launches. You want to do each position. And, but, knowing each person's individual strengths can be a benefit too, and can make all the difference because, it's, it's an important thing to be able to go from position to position, but also, know what you're most comfortable with. So if it's your first night launch, maybe everyone goes to their most comfortable position, and then they switch after they do one. And it's an important thing to know what each person's strengths are on your team. And team members need to be put in a position to succeed, just like I was just saying. If it's the first time the team's ever launched at night, maybe that's not the perfect time for everyone to do a brand new position that they haven't done yet. It's important to be in a position to succeed. And building relationships with your team members is an intentional activity. As when you have a team, and you need to get to know each other because you're going to be working on this project. It has to happen. You have to ask the questions, activities. I found with when I traveled with teams that I was working with, we brought a deck of cards and played card games and other things to help build a camaraderie, and that was really beneficial when it came time for us to perform whatever sort of research activities we needed to do as a team. So it's important to have fun. Plan something for your free time. As a student, and choose something for all of you to do because it's important that you have a good camaraderie amongst each other because that'll help you on when it's time to launch balloons for 24 hours in a row or however long your launches are, because that's a long time, and so you'll want to get to know each other before that and be able to have fun with each other while you're doing it. So now, after this presentation, I'd like you to get back together as a group and revise your code of conduct. Write a new one that's specific for this project team, because now that you have an idea of what we're going to be doing, it will be great to now have a very specific code of conduct for all team members, and that'll be very beneficial going forward because then everything is there right there. Everyone's already agreed. So take some time and do that, and that's all I have for this presentation. Thank you.